3 in 10 years. 3 Terre Haute police officers have been killed in the line of duty in the last decade. 3. Brent Long in 2011, Rob Pitts in 2018, and a little more than 4 months ago, Detective and FBI Task Force Officer Greg Ferency. He was shot and killed on July 7th. Greg's death has left our community, his fellow officers, both near and far, and his friends and family grieving, trying to make sense of this loss. No one from the Ferency family has spoken with the media about his death until now. I sat down with Greg's sister, Shelly Klingerman. She was very close to her brother. We talked about grief and turning this tragedy into triumph.
It was not an accident. It was not an illness. It was not his choice.
Shelly Klingerman is Greg Ferency's sister. Life as she and her parents once knew it changed forever on July 7th.
Make no mistake, I don't think that our grief and our tragedy is any greater than anyone else's. Tragedy and grief is grief, 100%. It is just, this was a very unique way in that it happened.
Shelly says it's hard to come to terms with what happened. When planning services for Greg, a conversation with a priest stuck with Shelly. It was triggered by the question, why would God let this happen? The priest's response was clear.
This was not an act of God. This was an act of pure evil, and God had no hand in this. But the way God responds is he makes something good come of it.
Greg was a father, son, brother, and a friend to many. But his family says they didn't truly know his reach until they heard from people across the world. Shelly says it's been very emotional and painful, going from sad to mad and being flat out angry.
How do you come back from something like this? How do you make sense of it? How do you make something good come of this tragedy that is something that would represent Greg?
Greg dedicated 30 years to law enforcement. Shelly wants there to be purpose in what happened to her brother. She says this cycle of officers being killed in the line of duty cannot continue.
It's for some reason a trend where these executions of law enforcement is becoming a headline, and that is what is not acceptable. It is not acceptable for us to get conditioned and shake our heads and be like, oh, that's terrible. We got to do something.
And she is taking action and doing something about it. Coming up for you tonight, brand new at 6, Shelly introduces us to Project Never Broken. It's a nonprofit that she's getting off the ground right here in Terre Haute with hopes of it growing across the country. You'll hear all about it, its mission and purpose, and you'll find out how you at home can get involved. Again, that's ahead for you at 6 o'clock.